This is impossible. You can fall forever and never hit the ground. And yet, somehow, you'd still be crushed long before you reach the end. Sounds like a contradiction, right? But that's exactly what would happen if you fell into Jupiter. And here's the part no one tells you. The deeper you go, the less falling even makes sense. You're not stepping onto a planet. There's no surface, no ground, no landing. Just an endless ocean of clouds hiding something far more terrifying beneath. So what actually happens the moment you jump? First, you wouldn't even get close. About 300,000 kilometers out, Jupiter's radiation hits you like an invisible wall. It doesn't burn. It doesn't warn. It just kills. Instantly. But let's break the rules. Let's give you a suit that can survive anything. Radiation, pressure, heat, everything. Now things get interesting. You step forward and begin to fall. Not gently, not slowly. You accelerate to nearly 180,000 kilometers per hour, faster than anything you've ever experienced. And here's the strange part. You don't feel like you're falling into a planet. You feel like you're falling into a storm that never ends. The sun is still visible behind you. Small, distant, useless. And then the colors appear. Massive swirling bands of orange, red, and white clouds stretch across your entire vision. Beautiful, peaceful even. But that beauty is lying to you. Because hidden inside those clouds is chaos. And what happens next changes everything. At around 250 kilometers down, you hit the first major layer. Ammonia clouds. Sounds harmless until you feel it. The temperature drops to minus 150 degrees Celsius. Cold enough to freeze anything instantly. But your suit holds. For now. But here's the strange part. The cold isn't the real danger. The wind is. Suddenly, you're no longer falling straight down. You're being pulled sideways. Spun. Twisted. Thrown around like a leaf in a hurricane. Winds reach speeds of over 480 kilometers per hour. You're inside a planet-wide tornado. And it never stops. Why? Because Jupiter is spinning faster than any other planet. One full rotation in just under 10 hours. That speed turns its atmosphere into a violent, endless storm machine. You try to stabilize. You can't. You try to see clearly. You can't. Everything is moving. Everything is alive. And this is where it gets weird. Despite all this chaos, you're still falling deeper. About 120 kilometers further down, you pass a point humanity has actually reached. In 1995, NASA sent a probe into Jupiter. It survived only briefly before being crushed. But you keep going. Because your suit is still holding. The light begins to fade. Colors disappear. The sky turns dark. Then darker. Then completely black. Now you're falling blind. Except you're not alone. Flashes of light explode around you. Lightning. Massive. Violent. Constant. And that's when things start to feel almost survivable. Which makes no sense. Because everything is about to get much, much worse. At this depth, something unsettling happens. The temperature starts rising again. Slowly at first, then faster. It almost feels warm. Comfortable even. But that comfort is a trap. Because the pressure is building. Not gradually. Not gently. Crushingly. Over 1,000 times stronger than Earth's surface pressure. Imagine the deepest ocean trench, multiplied beyond comprehension. Your suit holds. Barely. Your body? You feel it. Every inch. Every breath feels heavier. Denser. And here's the terrifying part. There's no escape. You've been falling for hours now. 12, maybe more. Time starts to lose meaning. There's no sky. No ground. No direction. Just pressure. Darkness. And endless descent. You try to call for help. Nothing. Radio waves don't work here. They're absorbed, swallowed by the atmosphere. You are completely cut off from the universe. Alone. And this is where it gets weird. The deeper you go, the less Jupiter behaves like a gas planet. It starts to feel thicker, denser, almost like water. But not quite. You enter something scientists call a supercritical fluid. Not a gas. Not a liquid. Something in between. You're not falling anymore. You're sinking. Swimming through a substance that shouldn't exist. And just when you think you've adapted, everything flips. Because the heat suddenly spikes. And what happens next feels impossible. The temperature keeps rising. Higher. 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 Until it reaches something unthinkable. The same temperature as the surface of the sun. Inside a planet. Let that sink in. But that's not even the craziest part. The pressure is now over 2 million times stronger than what you feel on Earth. At this point, reality itself starts to change. Hydrogen, the most basic element in the universe, begins to transform. It becomes metallic. Yes, metal. Liquid metal hydrogen surrounds you. Dense, heavy, conductive, a substance we barely understand. You're no longer in clouds. You're inside an alien ocean of metal. You try to move, but it resists you. Thick, powerful, unforgiving. And this is where it gets weird. This layer might be generating Jupiter's massive magnetic field, meaning everything around you is electrically alive. You're inside a planetary engine. If you somehow keep going, and that's a big if, you'd be falling through this metallic ocean for thousands of kilometers. Thousands. No end in sight. No change in direction. Just deeper and deeper, until finally, something appears below you. A boundary, a possibility, a core. But what it actually is might be the biggest mystery of all. And what happens when you reach it changes everything you thought you knew about planets. You reach the center, or at least what we think is the center. Because here's the truth no one agrees on, no one actually knows what Jupiter's core looks like. Some scientists believe it's solid, a dense, compact mass formed under unimaginable pressure. Others think it's partially dissolved, blended into the layers above. Not quite solid, not quite fluid. And that uncertainty is terrifying. Because if it is solid, you don't land on it. You're pinned to it. The pressure above you is so immense, it locks you in place. You can't stand. You can't move. You can't leave. You're trapped under an entire planet. But here's the strange part. Even if you survived everything, the radiation, the storms, the pressure, the heat, this is where your journey ends. Not with impact, not with destruction, but with stillness, silence, and isolation. And that's when it hits you. You've been falling the entire time, but you never truly arrived anywhere. No surface, no boundary, just layers of increasing extremes. And now, there's only one question left. If a planet has no surface, where does falling actually end? Or worse, does it ever?